Yes,
Okay.
it is. It is.
I'm like, wait a
Hi,
minute.
guys.
Hey, hey, hey.
I hope that your weekends were fantastic.
Hmm. And filled with like lots of friends and family and contemplation.
Yeah.
Hmm. Look at this thing, it's driving me crazy. It's okay. Okay,
All right.
let's
So,
get in.
yeah, let's jump in. I'm Casey
Hey, Chris.
Valentine.
And I'm Sheena Blake. And this is
Comfortably
Comfortably Uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. A show where we go all the way in and tell all the way the truth about stuff that people aren't always talking about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, Revelations?
Yeah. My revelation is that when you're not listening, Spirit can't talk to you and tell you the path.
Hmm.
I'm so used to things coming up to me, my intuition talking to me, telling me what to do, and now it's like radio silence. And I can't understand. I couldn't understand for a very long time why I wasn't being guided anymore. And I've come to the conclusion that it must be because I'm not listening. Because normally I hear it and it's clear, and now I'm all alone by myself, and it's annoying. I can't go on this way, so I have to start listening again.
That was some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's entirely the truth that you're all alone, you know? Or that you're not listening. Or I don't know what listening means. I don't know.
But you hear,
Sometimes I don't hear fucking anything, and I'm just like, look, I must be not hearing something when I have things showing up on my face, you know. So there's things I'm not listening to, also.
So what do
maybe,
we do?
But maybe sometimes we just don't have to hear it all.
Really?
Like maybe sometimes it's got to be yucky.
And then you just have to like figure it out.
I think so. It seems like it. Like now that I've seen well, I was only around for 34 years of my dad's life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, it seems like we come here and our job is to like just keep figuring it out and doing like what we desire so we can keep growing. And then sometimes we get stuff caught in our way, but that also seems to be okay. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Like the bigger lesson is always like, okay, well, how did you decide to you're a dermatologist? Are you a dermatologist, Chris? Because I actually need to speak with a dermatologist. I've been meaning to book that appointment. Yeah, I don't have an answer, but I am wondering now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
My revelation is that community is everything. And like this weekend, I had sisters and elders come to my home and help me cleanse my kitchen and cleanse my father's room. And there was I can't tell you all the words of the things that happened, but I can say that there was drumming and there was different smells that were beautiful, and there was like spilling of alcohol, and there was fabrics, and there was dancing, and there was fire, and it was beautiful. It really was beautiful. And there's a shift here, right? Like I can feel the shift, and it's not like I'm not gonna cry anymore or not feel sad, but I do feel like, okay, Dad, you know what? You can shift on. So what I'm saying is that like what I'm seeing in my world is that having a community that like walks with you through life seems to be the only thing that keeps me grounded. That's what I want to say.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like even I've had my brother and his wife and their 4 children, hey, at my house every weekend, and it's wonderful, and it's driving me nuts, and it's wonderful, like it's wonderful. So that's my revelation.
Yeah, I really like that. It makes me feel like my heart like jumped a bit when you said like community is everything and it's grounding.
Yeah.
Because I often feel like I don't have like a community, and that's another part of it that makes it hard,
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, I see your community, and it looks like, and I can see how it is grounding and how it is so essential, you know. Anyways, I felt that one. Yeah.
How do, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, how do, like, I'm hearing you, and my heart feels like it's falling out of my body, and I'm trying not to be in your space to, like, take away from your feeling, you know, because you get to have any feeling that you want. How, like, how do we help each other? Like, how do we get it better? How do we have more of the stuff that we want?
I'm not sure right now.
Fuck. That's a lot. This was a big one today. Mona Lisa relates with you again. And yes, guys, this is my dad's stuff in the background. You can't see it on your end, but on this end it says donate $20 to Black People's $20 billion resource fund. So today is the day, Dad. Yeah, I already stubbed my toe talking shit about his stuff, so so
we're gonna go all the way in.
We're going all the way in.
And I want to explore two ends of it. Okay, so Michael Blake, your dad, was really big on having a like Black resource fund where Black people could go and get money from it anytime they needed it for anything they needed it for. And I'm gonna let you talk more about it. On the other end,
we both know the same, I think.
Yes, but on the other end of it is like the welfare state, a universal welfare state for everyone.
So not just designated for Black people.
Right. So those are the two things we're gonna do a thought experiment on today.
Yeah.
So let's start with Michael Blake's
Black People Unite.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Papa were here, he'd be really shy and get all awkward and funny because he always did that, and he would always say, "I don't know how you became a public speaker. I can't do this." So Dad, I'm gonna do you justice, and I love you, and I'm proud of you. Okay, so Black People Unite is a $20 billion resource fund, and how he came up with that is that if every Black person in the world puts $20 into a pot, into a bank, then there would be enough money to support those who need money when we need it. And so, as you guys probably know, I am biracial. My mom is Jewish. She's Russian-Polish Jew. And so growing up, it was this very interesting dynamic for us because we were Black and we were Jewish when we were growing up in an all-white town. So, community needs a crowd fund. So, okay, I'm not gonna look at your guys' comments right this second because I want to get through what I'm trying to say. So, we grew up in a very interesting way because both of our cultures were not all the way seen all the time when we were kids. So we had to find ways to like just sort of be ourselves, right? And then my dad hit this time, like I want to say in like 2006, that he felt like he wasn't allowed to be all the way himself. You know, he was like, I'm tired being around people that need me to be white or need me to be the only Black guy, and it was just always a thing. And he grew weary, and then other things happened in life, and he ran away. He actually ran away to Costa Rica. But at the same time, and what my dad has taught me is that he also did what he wanted to do because he'd never had an experience since he was a child of living in it. Well, actually, that's not, Dad, you live in so many places. But anyways, he wanted to live in Costa Rica. So he's come up with this resource fund because he's realized through watching either myself or other women, Black women in particular, struggle financially when they have children. And one of the things that my dad never wanted to see of me was struggle. So he, like I said, guys, I took care of him and he took care of me. It was a tit for tat always. But he really was like, he hated seeing Casey and I struggle when we first started building Actualize. He was like, this should not be a thing. It should not be a thing that a woman goes to the grocery and her it comes up the insufficient funds. It should not be a thing. There should be a fund where people, Black people, could go and get some money so that they didn't have to ever struggle. Because what did he always say? When your belly is full, then you can do more. You can create more. So that was always something since we were kids that he's been serious about. So that's where he's at right now with Black People Unite. And so, we've had thousands of conversations with Papa about this.
Yeah.
And he always wanted to come on the show, and he was due to come on the show in January, but he transitioned before that, so that is okay. It is okay because everything is always okay, and things are always as they should be. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a real truth. Like, everything is always okay because things are as they should be, even if that means they suck. It doesn't mean we can't have shitty feelings. We can be sad and our hearts can be broken, but that's still what needs to be. Okay. So, why don't you talk about universal...
Well, naturally, guys, if you're watching, when Papa would tell us about the Black Resource Fund, we had questions. Even as Black women, we had questions because of, like, the natural question that's probably coming to your mind too, like, oh, what about other races? Why Black? That's the first. Don't act like you didn't ask yourself that question, right?
I didn't ask that, but I understand why people do.
Well, it's the whole reason whenever you say, like, Black Lives Matter, and they're like, well, why Black Lives Matter? Like, that whole mentality. And if you thought of it, it's not just because you have that mentality. It could be other reasons as well.
Absolutely.
So, yes, why Black people? So, do you want to answer that question?
So, why Black people is because he was like, why not Black people? That's why he drew that symbol. He said, it is all okay. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. This may or may not be a bawling day for me, guys. Not sure. As you all heard, I fucking yelled at a woman in the store the other day. So I don't know how I'm going to show up, to be honest with you. I don't know what I was talking about.
Why Black people?
Yeah, he just kept saying, why not?
Oh, okay.
Like, why not Black people?
Okay.
We've suffered the most out of everybody. He's like, it's not that if a white person came, we wouldn't give them money, but this is a fund for Black people. There are funds for specifically Chinese people, Japanese people, Russian people. There are funds for people all over the world. He just wanted a fund so that we did not ever have to struggle.
Okay. And what does that look like in his mind's eye, channeled through you, right? Is it that, like, it was attached to all of our bank accounts, or we just had the code and we can go and withdraw money when we needed it?
No, it would be like, so you would apply for the funding.
Okay.
So, like, either as a small business, as a single parent, as a single person. He also wanted to do like a mortgage fund, so you could get your mortgage for free. So instead of, so that it just made a little bit more sense. Hold on, Mona Lisa says, read her previous comment. He drew the golden ratio, Merkaba star, and the colors. Oh my God, wow. Pardon me. I can relate to the picture. The picture is talking to me. Oh my God, I feel what the picture is. Yeah, that's Papa. He's a magic man.
Yeah, he is.
And as we were talking about it upstairs, I was saying something like, I don't know, Dad, you're crazy. And then I stubbed my toe, so. But you're still crazy, Dad, so. Exactly. Nobody ever complains when other cultures take care of their own. This is the thing. That's what he was always saying. Like, and he actually didn't want to entertain the conversations about it, which I found really, because he was like, what am I even talking about? Like, everybody else gets to have their own fun. They create their own funds. And then we're like, oh, the Black People Unite. They're like, oh, that's racist. No, it's not actually racist. Not at all. So, yeah.
So, okay. Let's take this. Let's imagine it. Well,
what would it look like? The question that I always had for Papa.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the question that I always said, because I was like, one of the things that he said to me, this is maybe in the summertime, he was like, you know what? Had you not have had the experiences that you were having, you wouldn't have the hustle that you have to build what you're building. Okay. And I'm like, right. So then doesn't that mean then that you're circumventing someone's will by giving them that's what I was always
free money.
Yeah, like by giving them free money. And he was like, well, then there needs to be like an exchange. There needs to be an exchange.
Yes.
But we
what's the exchange?
Well, that's what he was saying. He was like, well, maybe it would be community stuff. So like elders would have to teach children things, and they'd have to show them stuff. And I'm like, okay, but in the past when we've done this as a society, it's not worked.
When?
So when OW, which was once called welfare, first started, it was what they were having people do is come and like work in exchange for, so make work
Okay.
projects.
Okay.
And so like I'm not going to speak to the history because I actually don't remember. I remember the textbook very clearly, but my brain's not working these days, so we'll
Because
have
you
to look
did
it up.
social work.
Yeah,
Okay, so you learned all about this in school.
which is why we transitioned into Ontario Works, especially in Ontario, where we give people money. Auric Field is showing Sheena you are in the light body. Oh, I'm so glad. I don't remember.
Yeah, so okay, so you give people money. Back then, so Ontario Works, it works how? What's the difference between OW and what we're exploring right now? Like OW.
Yeah, what would be the difference?
Welfare gives you money so that you can go out.
Yep.
And you apply to it,
Yep.
and then they pay your bills, right? That's kind of
Essentially
how it works.
Yep.
So what's the difference then between like Ontario Works and like tapping into this Black Resource Fund?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. I felt personally like it would be like he was like, okay, but imagine then that it wasn't a circumvention of your will, but it was a support when you needed it. So you didn't have to take it every month. Like there are a great deal of stipulations for Ontario Works. And in the times that I did take Ontario Works, my kids were very small. There was a time I was on Ontario Works, like by myself, and I can remember, and this is interesting, so I'm going on a lot of places here, but when I was a kid, I remember my parents telling me the story that they went on welfare at one point in the like early 80s, like before I was born, and they took it for a month, and then the next month they brought the check back to the welfare office, and it was like that's a big memory story in our family.
Yeah.
So I had taken Ontario Works for I think maybe 2.5 months, and then by the third month I was like, I'm done. I don't need this. I'm gonna pay you back, and I gave them back their check, and it was like this really big celebration. Actually, my dad had just come home from Costa Rica, and he was like, I'm so proud of you, like because I didn't allow it to circumvent my will. But that I have to. Like I didn't allow it to circumvent my will because of the memory from my parents telling me that story.
Yeah.
Right? Because I probably like you can get really cozy when someone is giving you something all the time.
Yeah, and like I haven't ever.
And no judgment to people that do, right?
Yeah, like I haven't ever personally taken Ontario Works or welfare because I'm afraid of. I don't want that because I've seen the opposite scenario.
Right.
Where people get kind of cozy, living on a welfare check. Or
even though it's not very much, but if you have children on top of it, you
child
can live,
benefits.
Yep.
Yeah.
CCTV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or if you get other benefits like disability benefits and things like that, and disability benefits can be life changing for those of you who can't work.
Right.
And that is amazing. But what I'm saying is, I've seen personally in my situation I've seen a world where you live off of the checks that you're given.
Like that is your payment. I
it.
have needed various times in my life, but I've always paid it back. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, like paying it back is a choice, right? Deciding that, look, like I have shifted my life enough to be able to make enough revenue for myself, or I no longer need assistance right now because whatever I was going through is done. Right. And I can enter into a new phase, and I think that's important.
Yeah, because that's what it was intended for.
Yes.
Right, where you're like, oh shit, I'm in a bind right now. Somebody died. I have to catch up on a bunch of stuff. Let me just get some help. Oops. Oh, there we go. So I don't think that it's a wrong thing like this, and that's what I was saying to Papa. Was like, this works if it's not a monthly payment. Yeah. But I feel the minute it becomes a monthly payment, at least I don't know. I can't speak for myself because I know I would give it back. But like we all know, or that's the typical dialogue around this, is that people don't they become reliant on it. And I'm also not in judgment of that, because that's like, if you in your mind at the time cannot think of doing anything else, and this is how you're bringing in support for your family, by all means. And actually, I was told by an ancestor a few months ago to get off the fence. So I'm gonna get off the fence, and I'm gonna say that I want to say that monthly stipends, depending on your situation, will circumvent your will. That's what I want to say. People who work on a regular basis have a different mindset than people who don't. Yes, but also people who are entrepreneurs have a different mindset than people who work on a regular basis. Right. So this is why it's got to be situation to situation.
Yeah.
right? We cannot use a blanket statement, and this is, I
Yeah.
feel like this is a solution-based conversation right now. We cannot use a blanket statement,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is why this kind of fund, I think, could work, because it would have to be basis to basis,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because it can't be like blanket. Over the break, I heard, and I've heard a couple times from a few people that, well, actually, most notably one, but that I'm a single black mother, and it's going to be really difficult for me now that I don't have my dad with me, which like is like so
Yeah.
preposterous that it's been like
Yeah.
hard to even manage. True, not a blanket statement, but as a general guideline. Okay, sure. But now, okay, so at one point when I had heard that years ago, when I first became a single black mother, I was like, oh no, and then I made enough so that I wasn't dying or struggling and didn't need welfare. What? Leave it? Okay. A Periscope? Dancing, talk to your people. Okay. Yeah. What was I talking about?
You were talking about how you don't prescribe to that single mother helpless narrative.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying necessarily that it is like every woman should be where I'm at either.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm just saying for myself, that narrative does not work for me. It's not the truth for me. I'm working on, I'm growing every day.
Yeah.
I'm Papa's gone. I'm still okay. I figured that out, and I will continue to grow and figure it out more. So what I'm saying is that if there's a fund where, but we have to, mindsets have to be changed
In order for black people to
be able to see a fund like this.
appreciate it.
How do we even say that effectively? I don't know if that's even a fair thing to say out loud. Do you know what I'm saying?
If this fund, maybe there is a fund out there right now, maybe there is a fund out there, or a scholarship or whatever, a government scholarship, especially in Canada. There may be resources for. I don't know if there. I think there might be.
Hold on, Chris says, I don't think people get cozy. I think the minute you try to place yourself back on track or try to experience the burden of having that support taken away prematurely when
you're still struggling.
Yep. Mona Lisa says, we come from a generation where we are taught scarcity, but we are infinite, meaning abundance is our birthright. Agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Morris. Okay. And Dancy says, if you needed a microscope or a computer or tools for a better job, career, that would be a great resource to have. And that was what my dad was really serious about. If you need a laptop, if you need a phone, because those things, and actually welfare can't necessarily get you that if you're paying all your bills with welfare. You still have to supplement with something. And the other thing that I think, Chris,
That's
you were
true.
talking about is that the more money you make, the less welfare gives you, but you're reliant on welfare money because you also want to be able to get enough groceries and get that shirt and make sure your car payments are made.
Well, that's kind of but we've had this discussion before where I said that when I become a multi-millionaire, if I'm a billionaire, when I become a billionaire, I have something set up in my head for my own peoples. Everyone who I care about will be on my beneficiaries list of a monthly stipend, and it will change depending on how much money they're making. And they get more if they can do certain tasks. Okay, if I know that my brother, for instance, wants to buy a house with his girlfriend,
Sure.
then I'll be okay, Clevin, what you got to do is you got to show me, maybe go and build a house in another country and show me that you're willing to sacrifice and know what it actually means to feel to own that house and to build it.
But don't you feel like people are going to come back at you and feel the ways that you're making that type of stipulation? Or you don't care?
I don't care. I think it would lead to the growth of him as a person, and then he'll appreciate it more when he gets his house, even if he doesn't have to pay for it.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that because I don't know. We need to do some sort of social experiment at this point. And I know people are going to be research, but people are different now than they ever have been. So this is one thing we know. Lamoy, if you're still here, you've been doing that $25 to single mom. I would like to know how that's been working for you. What does that look like for you? What does it sound like? The mothers that are reaching out, what are their stories? What does it seem like? And I don't know, this is also really basic. You can't give us that much, I know, but...
No, I've been looking at that, and I'm wow, that seems to me like such a wonderful grand gesture for.
Mhm.
So for those of you who don't know,
Oh yes, thank you.
Lemoy's just been posting on her Facebook, and she has a really active community on Facebook, and she started to say like, look, I have $25. I just want to give it away to a single mother who just might benefit from an extra $25.
Yeah.
And women supposedly
Actually, she's made it specific. There was 1 week where she did it where it was for extra food.
Oh.
And then last week's one was for like to go get her nails done or to go do something for herself.
Oh, okay.
So this is also interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's a designated, I don't want to use the word stipend. If it's a designated gift,
Yeah. I like
Right?
the word gift.
right? So because like what I would like to see happen, and also Lemoy, I actually would like to talk to you more about it, and I'd like to figure out how we can become a part of that.
Yes.
Because I really like the concept, and we
Me
might as
too.
well be giving it a try with what
Ooh.
Michael Blake is.
I would love. That's beautiful. That's
Right?
wonderful. Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah. And I want to know if people have reached out to you and been like, hey, do I have to actually use the money for this? Can I use it for this? I want to know if people are asking. Because I think what we're the usual conversation is around like, oh, there's people that are abusing the system and they just take it for granted. And I'm like, is that really what we're saying?
Well, you know, we don't have to wait for Lemoy. I'm down to give away $25 today to someone who
Yeah, me
needs
too.
it.
Me too.
So what? 50 or 25?
Well, let's make it
25.
50. We'll make it 50 between the two of us.
All right. So like,
Oh, Lemoy says, I just decided to do it out of my own pocket, and then 2 black men messaged me that they wanted to give as well. That's dope. Why don't we add our 50
yes,
to
let's
theirs?
add it.
Yeah.
Yes. Can we add our $50, 25 each, to your fund?
We'll just
please?
e-transfer it to you.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
that's so great how it's already growing, and all it took was, you know,
just
a
said it.
gesture. Exactly. So, yes.
Okay. So this leads to the next question though, because the question, Lemoy, and I know that you've looked into it. Oh, Oliver's into it. Dope. I know you've looked into it in your soul at some point, but like, what happens next? Like if we could come up with this, let's just say we come up with a bill, okay? If we come up with a bill every week for a woman, a single mother and child, or something like that, do they become reliant? How much help is help, and how much help is circumvention? Like,
But
am I being a
if
dick
it's
about
your will
this?
in the moment, if it's your will in the moment to have someone take care of you, which is a lot
Is
of people's
allowed.
wills,
It's
you know,
allowed though.
then
I've
it's not
needed people to take care of me
No,
over
of
the last
course,
few weeks.
of
Yeah.
course, but it's not a circumvention of your will.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
it is what you're asking for. You're asking for someone to support you financially. And if someone comes along and supports you financially, then it's up to you for your will to change. And if your will never changes, I think then that's a real thing too.
Okay.
Because some people, it's not automatic for them to snap and be like, wait a second, people have been taking care of me for a while. Let me
I need
turn
to make a
around
new decision
and take care of them.
How do
or-
we then have is that something that we share? Do we need them to change that?
I would like for them to change that at some point, yes.
So what does it look like for them to change it? And are you open to the resistance of
Yeah.
you know, because that's the pushback is the part for me that's like, okay, so I don't know for sure. No, I'm not. Okay, so if you guys remember learning about like structural functionalists and I don't remember the rest of the words. Who cares? But structural functionalists are the ones who like believe that there have to be rich people and there have to be poor people. But most of our society functions that way. We feel like there have to be people that have lots and there have to be people that have little. I'm wondering, like, without needing to be a socialistic society or a communistic society, is there an alternative, which is how we can shift into the universal conversation?
Well, I wish there was, if there is someone on here who studied like the Scandinavian state, like European states,
yes.
I really want to hear from you because it's in theory, I mean, there are more on like the welfare state from what I read or hear about, but I hear that they're more slanted toward, they're still a capitalistic society, but they have more of a welfare state where people have more resources. Like I think education is free, obviously, well not obviously, but healthcare is free and other things like that. They have a more welfare type state and they're supposedly happier according to economic studies. But I don't know what that looks like in real life because
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, and then compared to the States, they say that we have more of like a welfare
Oh my
type
God.
approach. And there's still lots of unhappy
They
people
live in a totally
here.
different way.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Oliver says, or Mona Lisa is saying, philanthropy is manifested. I see magical stuff today in my heart. I don't think money will go consistently to one person, says Oliver. Or you can say 5 times per. Okay, interesting. I'm putting a process in place where there's minimal non-judgmental accountability on the mama's part. Show us your last grocery bill and we'll pay you back, etc. Okay. Okay. I feel dope. Good. Or different levels of help. First money, second counseling. Okay.
Well, yes, that thought came to my head because what we want from the people receiving support or gifts is an assessment, I think, or what I want at least, is an assessment of where they're at. If you could tell me, like, in week 1, where you're at on these 4 levels is like, look, I feel shitty about myself. I haven't, like, wherever you're at, like, if I was doing the assessment myself, feeling shitty about myself, you know, I need, like, I just
X
need, like,
amount
a
of
moment,
dollars.
yeah, to breathe, and that means I need to really look at myself and get back on my feet or whatever, right? And so someone would give you support in the first month, and then you keep doing assessments, self-assessments maybe, until there's a shift.
Isn't that what EI does?
I don't know.
That's what EI does. You have to fill out a questionnaire every month. I mean, it's less like spiritually thoughtful, but it is still there. But how Lemoy says not judgmental, but Lemoy, what does that mean actually? Not judgmental. What does that like actually look like? So there's zero stipulation, like I'm open to that also. I'm just curious to know like where that takes us, because what happens when this spirals into something bigger?
Abuse.
Well, okay.
Can you abuse it?
I don't know, but like, what happens, Lemoy, when this spirals beyond $25, but $2,500? And then there's so many people who are like, wait, Lemoy, like, I want you to send it to this person because they're in need, or this person's in more need, or someone's like, I'm in need, and then you find out that they like bought a fancy car, or I don't know, like, how do we? Because it seems that there's this interesting spiral because of our capitalistic mindsets.
Yeah.
And I don't know where to stop it, and I don't know if it's even dicky to bring up, but like, this is comfortably uncomfortable.
Well, the thought that came to my head was partner,
yeah,
or whatever it's other called.
She
I
also
don't know.
says Drew Patties, so
I liked it. It's Drew Patties. I call it Drew Patties. If you know what I'm talking about, if you're not from Toronto,
It's
then you
Drew
don't know.
Patties.
Sorry.
Anyways,
I'm a Trinidadian person, and I can't, but I'm Canadian. I can't rightfully say Drew Patties.
you just said it.
No, it's
This
Drew
is
Patties.
insanity.
I'm sorry. Anyways,
Anyways.
partner, the word partner. Anyways, if you don't know what that is, partner is like a fund, essentially. Yes, Susu, a partner, depending on your
that may not be fair
background.
also to say if you don't know what either of those things are, so
Right.
go for it.
They put money in a pot, basically, or not in a pot, whatever. Everyone puts money in. There's like, let's say there's 10 people. They all put, I don't know, $100
A week.
And then each person gets it month by month or week. I don't actually know how it works 100%.
No,
but
that's
yeah,
it.
each person gets it.
Depending
they take
on
turns.
depending on the susu in your community, you can
Yes.
say like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yes. So then, 100 times 10's 1,000, I think. So you get $1,000 that one week, and then the next person, and then it goes around just to help people out with payments. And so it seems like, what if instead of the welfare that goes to you indefinitely, what if it was kind of working like a susu or a partner where it goes
You
around?
put, like it's a big partner.
Yeah.
Partner?
Partner?
I'm gonna go with partner on this one. It's, we were born here. We're trying. Oliver says there's a fine line because you don't want people to take advantage. Sure, some people will abuse it. Clovis laughing out loud. Well, partner. Lloyd says it starts looking like a grant process, which is what is deep in my spirit. I appreciate that. Putting deeply reflective process in place to minimize abuse of the gift grant when it grows beyond $25. Okay, so but I like that also as a grant. I like that a lot actually. And I know in the times that I've received grants in my life, it's been like, oh fuck, I needed that so bad. Mm-hmm. But then that next point, like when it is beyond 25, because I need you to speak to this. I need to know what those questions look like. The grants are dope, But what happens when our women, our people, and I don't even know if I'm not even just talking about Black people, I'm just talking about humans in general.
Yeah.
When we have generations of our families reliant on something other than ourselves. And I'm really like, I feel like I'm stepping outside of the judgment because I'm like, I don't know what's the rightest or wrongest, but I do know the narrative that's surrounded these things for a long time.
Right.
And it's been consistently like, there's a polarized argument. We think these people are abusing the system, and we think these people are fucking assholes. It's like,
is there anything wrong with a generation where you need to be supported? Let's just look at that concept.
Say that to me another way.
So, theoretical person,
Okay.
grew up getting support financially from other people her whole life. Maybe it's a grant, maybe it's her friends, I don't know. Someone's taking care of her.
Okay.
She has children now.
Okay.
Those children are being taught to get support from elsewhere.
Okay.
So what they're getting really good at is asking other people for money. And people say yes because they ask politely. You know, they're good people, but that's the only way they know how to support themselves, right? And then their children, same thing. Is there something wrong with that? What's wrong with it? What's actually wrong with that?
What's actually wrong with that?
Every person in life is conditioned to have a set of skills, right? And if your skill is to ask for money, and if your skill is to attract wealth to you without you necessarily working for that wealth, is that a problem?
Is that a problem? I'm going to go with a no on that.
Why?
I think it's important to be able to know. Okay, I hate the word balance, so I'm not going to use it, but you guys know what I mean. I like, in thinking about it, it's like, it's important that a person knows how to delegate, ask for help, be selfish. I think all of those things are really important, right? Like, I think especially women, we've lost our way with this. Like, Mom, if you're watching, I'm going to share this, but, you know, since my father passed or transitioned, my mom is a traveler, and she travels the entire world, and she is like the most mind-blowingly amazing woman I've ever known in my entire life. I'm like, I feel like, Sheena, you did good because I picked her. You know what I mean? I really am proud of her. And when Papa transitioned, she was like, shit, I can't leave you guys and go on my next trip. I can't do that. And I was like, the hell you can't. You better go. Like, you gotta go. And there was this huge discussion around selfishness. And she's like, am I being selfish? And I'm like, yes, and it's good. Right? Like the Tao says, selfishness is the key to all selflessness. Meaning, when you take best care of yourself, you can take better care of others.
I don't know. My reading the other day said that I need to stop being selfish and be a lot more selfless. But it could just be where I'm at in this time.
But we still have to debunk that word.
Right.
Oh, Mom, someone's telling you on Periscope that you better go.
Yeah, and okay. I feel, I don't know how I feel about this.
Okay.
Because if I'm that family and I'm conditioned to learn how to ask really well, there's a huge stigma around that. That's a whole gold.
But that's still
culture.
That's where you're going with it. I see.
Doesn't it seem like reminiscent of that
Mom.
culture where those girls, like, I feel like, oh my God, I don't want to say this out loud, that I talked to my friends about the whole surviving R. Kelly thing, and this could be ignorant as F, so just ignore me. You know what? Just say what you want to say. Okay, I talked to a particular friend about the whole surviving R. Kelly, and he was like, okay, but those girls put themselves in that situation because they were trying to get money to live from a man.
So what is that brother saying? That, like, if I'm in a situation with a man and we're about to get jiggy, but I change my mind, it's okay that he has sex with me?
Yeah, me and him argued a lot about that. I think he's trying to say, like, he didn't really know what to say.
Yeah, he wasn't digging deep enough.
Yeah, he's not
close as fuck, that guy.
Yeah, he's not necessarily trying to say that women deserve to be, like, raped and abused. He's not necessarily saying that, but part of the fact that he was saying that they put themselves in a situation they deserve a little bit of blame is problematic as well. But the bigger, I guess,
without judging, because I don't want to go into that narrative too, and like
yeah,
that, like,
no. Yes, you're right. So it's that aside. What that makes me think of when someone's reliant on other people giving them money is, where are you willing to put yourself, and in what situation, in what situations will you find yourself because you're relying on other people to support you all the time?
Okay.
And that scares me.
That is scary.
That scares me.
I see you.
Yeah.
And in that case, it is completely a circumvention of will. That the opportunity is open to you.
I'm not following.
Like, so a person that is going to be reliant. Oh, we've missed so many comments.
Okay, I just want to hear that one explanation.
So a person that is going to be reliant,
Mm-hmm.
and like, so let's just say you grew up. I don't even want to use that word because it feels so. Okay, get off the fence. I'm going to use the word. Okay, so a person that has become reliant on it, and this is because they witnessed their parents having welfare this whole time. Okay, no problem. They've grown up. They now have children of their own. They're used to this process. They're used to the CCTV. They're used to the Ontario Works. And they also are aware that like they've got beautiful tits and a beautiful ass, and they can like commandeer men in lots of ways to give them money. I think what I'm saying is that at this point,
And he's a beautiful man, for instance, and he can
Sure.
a big, giant, shiny
Yes.
penis, and women love it, and they give money for it. Yes, that happens. Yes, continue.
shiny is not the word that's disheartening.
I mean, shiny things are better. It's like he put like baby oil on it.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I just.
I'm like, is it sweaty? Is it sweaty?
Oh,
it's,
that's
why I was like, is it sweaty?
Ew,
And I'm like,
no,
"Ah."
no, it's not sweaty.
Anyways, you could have a sweaty. We went too many places. Let's get back on track. Okay. I am saying, okay, you know what? I don't want to say this because
Okay.
I don't know if I'm certain about my statement. I
fair.
want to see what Lemoy is saying. I think it should be towards specific situations and needs, like specifically towards childcare, groceries, small business, putting accountability and show and prove receipts, completed business plans. So is that not with judgment though?
Accountability. It's not judgment. I don't think that's the same thing. I know that has an element of accountability to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a judgment thing.
Well, but what I'm saying is that how often have people needed you to be accountable to something? And for myself, I felt a ways. Like I've been like, oh man.
Like, don't give it to me if I have to prove this to you.
Yes.
That kind of
Yes.
thing?
Yes. Exactly that. Chris says, if you are familiar with Black Legal Aid Fund, we understand some of the problems of the gatekeepers. Are the gatekeepers. Point.
Why? Because they're pocketing.
No. Because they're the ones that. Well, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're the ones who like make it a final decision. Like, do you get this or you don't get this?
Yeah. Okay, I see.
And how they get it and how much. Clove says he's also not saying that R. Kelly is a predator. Okay. You know, the R. Kelly thing for me is like.
Oh yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. It's I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm so upset by this R. Kelly thing.
I'm upset.
Like yesterday, not this R. Kelly thing, all the problems and all the chaos and all the hurt, it's a lot for me.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot. Yesterday, I don't know what happened. I was on YouTube and D'Angelo put on a thing, and then it was about like how there's still a family looking to get their child back because their daughter is being manipulated by him still, and she's like hasn't seen her family in years, and it was just like, like I'm just like I cannot handle it right now. I can't. It's so much.
You know what's been another revelation for me? And I feel like Papa keeps telling me this over and over. Is that like, okay, look, when you watch a person transition, for myself, so many things have come up like, oh, what about this? And he was hopeful and he thought he was going to live. And all these things that like little dulls, like they kind of like little dull me where I like stop shining as bright. But what he said was, if you want to sit in that vibration, it will kill you. So this is why the news and the newspapers, and as much as it's important to understand what's happening in the world, that is intentional vibration, I feel. And I don't know who, and I don't know why, and I don't give a fuck. Where I'm at now is, how do I consistently release all of the elements of guilt and shame that I carry? Because those are the things that put me in a vibration that attract shit. And I'm done. So I'm looking at these families that are still suffering, and there are people suffering every fucking day, everywhere around the world. And I'm like, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I love me. And I love me. And I'm going to love me hard because I have to shift the vibration, because otherwise there's a pit. It sits right beside our beds every fucking morning. Like, should I jump in it or should I not? And I have to like take a step around the pit, because if I go in, I feel like I'm not going to come out of it.
That's powerful. That's serious. That's real shit.
And I don't know if there's the thing is, so we are always talking about like how, what does it look like? And for me right now, what it looks like to release the guilt is to actually take a second and be like, I release this, and here's what I want. And I'm going to enjoy this moment deeply for people everywhere around the world. Like this weekend, I've been like just trying to take in I complain about my family because I'm an asshole, but also because it's like endearing for me to be like, they're driving me crazy. Thank God. I to be honest, like I would love to have my dad be driving me crazy right now, but he cannot. Well, he's bothering me in the spirit realm, but he physically isn't here to be like, this porch tastes like shit. Asshole. Dad. So what I'm going to do, and in our ceremony yesterday, you get me, Mom? Thank you. In our ceremony yesterday, one of the things that my dad came to us and said very, very succinctly was, live your damn life. All the way. All the things. What you want, go and do it. Because no one else is going to do it for you, and one day you're going to die. And before you die, you're going to see other people die, and it's going to little dull you. And you have to make a decision to be like, none of this is in vain. No one is going to actually die in vain if I live my life all the way. I think. I don't fucking know, but I'm going to do it for a bit. I need it to be a thing.
Okay. And I received that because I think I needed to hear that today.
Okay.
So,
oh, look, we're listening.
Yay!
Yes, I think so. And doing all the things.
Well, okay.
So then,
does that mean if you're living your best life and you're doing all the things you need to do in this world, isn't that the antithesis of waiting for someone to take care of you all the time, waiting for someone to give you money all the time?
Oh shit! But what about the whole shit revelation? If I die and no one mourns me, it seems to be a life wasted. Really? Ooh, we'll talk about this another day. This looks like a whole topic.
Oh, if no one mourns you, that's interesting.
No, I don't think that's true. Cancel the thought. Cancel it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that you're dancing. I think that no, and I know that you weren't referring to you specifically, but you must have been, because if it's in the seed, it's in the fucking room. So let's talk about this another day.
Bye.
Whoa. Okay.
Strange.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just wrap up
Yeah, let's wrap up.
the welfare state
Yeah.
conversation.
I think that it can work. That's where I'm at with it. I think that things can work, but we do have to, like Oliver said, but is counseling the word? Doesn't that imply that these people don't know something? That a person doesn't know something?
We all need to learn things.
We all need to learn things. Okay, I can get down with that. But do you see where I'm going?
But life is a yin and yang, a give and take. And I know you don't like the word balance, but there's two parts to everything.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if you're just taking, I feel like it's so obvious that you're missing out on the giving part.
Okay.
And you need to get there.
Okay.
So maybe one does need counseling in order to get back to the giving part.
Okay.
Because it does need to be a give and a take.
Yes.
Life does need to be that.
Okay.
So what I am saying is if you live entirely on support or gifts, then there's a part of you that you're missing out on. And you must get back to that.
How do we challenge the people that are in that space to shift that mindset? This is the solution-based place that we're at. Like, what does this look like now? So in terms of your accountability, Lemoy, is this a personal accountability? Are they speaking to you? Are they speaking to a board? Because as it gets bigger, that's the next move, right? Is that there would be a board that would conduct this fund. But how then the gatekeepers, as Chris said, can make a decision based on your attitude. But where do we go? Periscope crashed. Yeah, thanks for coming though.
Thanks for knowing where to go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like. This looks like it's going to be a bigger conversation, and we're at 49 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't tell them about our book and our bookcast. But before we go, like, I feel like you have some more closing statements on it, and I also...
No, we've been really we're trying to shift into solution-based conversations. And because why have conversations if you're not going to try and work towards solutions?
Yes, getting to somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's why we don't want to talk about R. Kelly too much, other than, like, you know, we've been talking amongst ourselves about, like, how do we change the way that we talk about sex and sexuality. How do we open up conversations between women and women, women and men, women and trans people? How do we open up those conversations? Because of what I'm realizing is the dialogue is everything. And in a conversation I had on Friday, the person said to me that he had said something like, oh man, nah, I'm not a pussy. Go ahead, give me the shot or whatever. And then the odd Facebook is reversed. Yet, as it gets bigger, there will be more hearts involved, and it's our responsibility to have soul-filled people involved. We'll talk more about it. Okay. It's fair that you don't have a solution.
No,
right
but
now.
I do want to ask you, Lemoy, before you leave us, that like, I think maybe this is part of the solution. We talked about a universal fund. Lemoy started a fund. We want to join your fund. I would also like to be maybe on the board of said fund, insofar as maybe we have these conversations to determine the answer to your question.
Yes, like how do we determine when a person is in need? How do we determine when a person has shifted their mindset?
Yes.
For how long do we supply them with this gift? Those questions.
And Lemoy, so if you will allow us, if you'll entertain us, we will send you money. Give us your email so we can send you the e-transfer.
We'll send it today.
But beyond that, if you're open to us, like having that kind of dialogue with you, we would love that, because I think that is the solution.
It seems to me that it's the solution for all the things. And well, hold on. Open dialogue, but also being open to hearing someone else's opinion that is not like yours.
Yes.
Because so the woman that this man said, oh, I'm not a pussy, she was offended. And then instead of being offended that she was offended, he was like, can you explain to me why you're offended?
Yes.
And in the explanation, he heard more about her. And then he was also able to express where he was coming from. And so it leveled out the playing field.
Yeah.
So instead of it being like, so that's the other thing, because when people are talking about R. Kelly right now, it's so polarized that if you still even like R. Kelly's music, people hate you. And I think that's dangerous. I think it's really dangerous.
Because you're not allowing the thought process to happen. You're not allowing yourself to even listen to dissenting opinion.
Yeah. Oliver's saying, how, we're thinking too much. What, is Michael Blake with you right now? Okay. But I'm deeply honored. Thank you, ladies. Let's talk. Chloe says, But Oliver, you had said, when does it start? Lemoy has already started this, so hit her up, go to her DM and tell her that you're going to send her some money, and send her some money. And then she's already been doing this, so we're just joining her bandwagon. What does a bandwagon even look like? A bandwagon?
Oh no, I'm picturing like those cargo vans, like bandwagon.
And I'm thinking like in Mexico where they have, okay, anyways, we went too many places. But you guys, we wrote a book. And actually someone last week was like, you never tell us what your book about. And I was like, #hater, and I said some mean things, and that wasn't nice. But you guys already know where I was last week. Go ahead.
There's a point though where some ideas are no longer worth entertaining.
But entertaining, entertaining is not the word though, Clove. That's where I'm at with it.
It's about learning about, because this is a big trend right now on TED Talks, if you guys are interested, where there was this one black gentleman from the university who was inviting white extremist racists to the university campus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard about this.
Yes, exactly. And his point was like, look, I'm not supporting this conversation, but I think we should know what the other side is saying, merely for our own strengthening of ourselves, right? So now we can better debate these points. We can better understand where these people are coming from and have a real conversation as to,
without like shutting it down right away.
Yes.
Because it's the shutdown why we have so many disparaging no, that's not the word I want to use, where it's so polarized. Even when we're talking about rape, it's so vastly polarized.
Right.
Why is it polarized?
Right.
We need it to not be polarized. We need to come to some kind of common ground.
And then we have to be able to talk about that.
And exactly. And all the little things, like, excuse me, I see that you're tickling my daughter, and I can appreciate that, but she's at a very interesting time in her life that I would appreciate if you didn't touch her body anymore. And is there a way that a man can hear something like that and not be offended, or in the offense be like, yo, that's not where I was coming from. I'm furious that you think that of me. And then we can break it apart and come to some kind of like calming, because it seems to me that it is the conversation and the real fucking conversation, not the fake shit like, I heard you too, and then go and say shit about each other. No, like we actually sit and have the talk.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So also we wrote a book.
Yes. And it's a book about, and I want to do workshops on this soon.
Yes.
But it's a book about basically identifying where you're at first, you know, and then you got to reprogram where those thoughts are coming from. You got to be purposeful in your wanting to change, which means you could look at yourself and say, I know that I've been fucking up.
Yeah.
And there's a better way for me to be.
Yeah.
And
I can make a new choice.
And then you make that choice.
Because that is the thing. It's like the assessment of the assessment of your blind spots, right? And like also having accountability to another human or another spirit.
Yes.
Where you can be like, look, like this is a blind spot for me. Or sometimes we don't know what our blind spots are. So people prefer an echo chamber. Yeah, for now. But I actually wonder if we're shifting as a consciousness to a place where we don't, right? Like I think even sounding boards, like Casey and I use live streams to get across our message, which is just love, right? But that's also cheesy. It's also like communicate, right? That's a better one. Heal, communicate, and all the other stupid like hashtag words that people use right now. Release. Open, right? But I think like lost my point. Don't know where it went.
No, but I don't know what line of track you guys are on, but I do know that like for the book is about basically changing
yeah. And making a decision to purposefully change.
So Sheena lost like what 60 pounds in 1 year, 6 months. Well, at first 6 months.
Yeah.
60 pounds in 6 months.
Yeah.
Because she decided to attach exercise to a habitual behavior, and that it took her reprogramming her lifestyle in order to achieve it, and she's achieved it. And so we basically in the book break down how you can do that,
right?
With whatever goal that you're working towards,
and with whatever imagination you have for your life change. Because for me, like she said, every time I went pee, I did exercise. Now this is interesting that you guys still get to see me and Casey as authors post-writing, because now you're seeing that my dad has transitioned, which has put me in a different headspace, which has changed my routine, right? So I haven't been peeing and exercising lately. Mm-hmm. My body, I'm really glad with my body. I feel like I'm hot as hell, and I really enjoy my body very much. Mm-hmm. But that is because of shifting my mindset, my paradigm on how I look and feel about myself.
Yes.
So I wonder if I were to put back on that 60 pounds, would I maintain that? Well, that's not an experiment I'm willing to make. Mm-hmm. And it's also not something I'm willing to say out loud, like, yeah, of course I would, because that'd be stupid shit. But I do think it's vital for people to catch their blind spots, make a decision about who we want to be on a regular basis.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing that now in a way with my social network. I've been, as long as you've been watching the show, I've been saying how terrified I am of people and networking and whatever. And very clearly this year, I absolutely have to reach out to people and network and make new connections outside of my comfort zone if I want to succeed. So you will be seeing me step into that because I absolutely have to. There's no other excuse. And that's what purposefulism is.
Yeah, and you're aware of that blind spot, and so you're stepping into purposefulism and making decisions that are going to like shift that.
Yes. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm going networking tonight. I'm so excited.
I'm really proud of you.
But I'm kind of excited. I'm nervous.
Well, I mean, like whatever here's the thing. The feeling
is irrelevant?
No. Here's what I'm realizing. I think. So the feeling is relevant for the moment. So we let it be strong. We let the feeling be strong. Because it would be insane to be like, I'm not nervous, and you are. Mm-hmm. So you're denying yourself that. It's like denying ourselves of things is actually quite dangerous. But instead we could be like, I'm fucking nervous. Mm-hmm. Let that flow through you. Like when I was giving birth, my midwife said, let each of the ebbs and flows be strong. And that changed everything for me because instead of fighting every time I had an ebb, I let it be strong because as surely as it came, it would leave. So what if we were okay to have the feelings that we're having, but also make a decision about who we want to be afterwards, after the feeling. And what if we let the feeling be strong, it only lasted for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I'm sad about Papa, I'm like I'll have that moment of like, I miss you. And lately I've just been yelling out like, I miss you, Dad. I love you so much. I love you so much. And I don't know if it's right or wrong. And I actually don't give a fuck if it's right or wrong. Now I'm just like, it is feeling better. Some days are still sucky and shitty. Friday was a really shitty day. I screamed the shit out of that lady. It was wild. I've never had a moment like that.
When I read your Facebook message, I typed up a whole thing and I erased it.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
Well, because I was gonna say I've never like had that kind of connection with like I've never lost a parent.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what that feels like.
Okay.
But I've been in pain, sitting in pain before.
Yes.
And I've taken that pain on other people before too. You know that. And I remember the times where people that I loved and cared about told me like, it feels so shitty when you take your pain out on me. And I felt like, I know you're never a person to put your pain on anybody else, you know? And so I felt like obviously this is a moment, it's fleeting and you learn from it and you probably wouldn't go there again if you have the control, you know?
It felt really good, can't lie.
It does feel good in the moment, but the other person transfers the pain, right? Because you transfer the pain.
See, I don't think so. That's not what that moment felt like for me.
Really?
It actually felt like, and I wonder, and if she ever catches this show, she'll recognize me. I'll recognize her. But if it felt as though she had lost something too, and we were just releasing. And in fact, what the entire, like when I look back on the moment, and I could be wrong, but it seems to me that what we believe to be true is true.
You're right.
So I would prefer to have the belief that she and I exchanged something.
Okay.
We were like,
Fair.
and I was like, shut your damn mouth! Like I was fully yelling, and she was fully yelling, and we hit this point of like so much upsetness that we both realized that we were done. Like it didn't carry any further. It was like, yell, 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 yell. Me turning to the cashier like, look, this isn't how I typically am, and I'm very sorry that you're witnessing this. And she was like, this is Rexdale. And I was like, sure is. So I don't feel like I put my pain on her. I feel like I put my pain out.
Okay.
And she put her pain out, and it went poof, and dissipated. That's what it feels like.
Okay, that leads me to other thoughts, but I know we have to wrap this live up.
I know.
Because then all those moments where I felt guilty after blowing
Fuck
up on
that
someone,
shit.
am I like, I guess I could just look at it a different way. And be,
Or go blow up in Walmart where it's less personal.
But I used to blow up on people in the car all the time. And
In the car?
like when I'm driving, and then people would do stupid shit, and I would cuss them all the way off, and they'd cuss me all the way off. And it's just like this like yelling match. And then I did feel better after. But like I just felt also guilty that I could have potentially caused that person to like hate their life in that moment. And
I wonder though, okay, I'm cutting this on purpose because I wonder if this is a proximity thing.
I don't understand.
So like I'm hearing you and I'm like sitting close to someone and screaming at them feels different than there was a woman that was a good 15, 20 feet away from me and us screaming across at each other. And I don't know if that seems really too basic and simple, but as you're saying it, it's less intimate. So, like, we didn't know each other. We weren't close to each other physically. We were just like, okay, this is, both of us need to get this out. And to be honest, I'm like, in hindsight, I'm now looking around at, like, I could see managers coming because it was so dramatic. And I could see the other cashiers, like, making a decision about where they were going to position themselves. And then I remember this, like an ease, like, all right, fuck it, we're done. My stuff, my like 18 items have been passed through and it's all done, right? So I don't know for sure, but what I am learning is that the vibration of guilt does nothing for anyone. It only brings about more shit.
Okay.
We also didn't tell you the name of the book, guys. It's called Piss Off, Old Paradigms. Dad, I appreciate the way you're shifting the show. It is very much fun. So, Piss Off Old Paradigms, and if you have not gone and grabbed your copy from Amazon, that's okay. Go and grab it because the show is almost done. Grab your copy, and go, if you're like, oh, I can't grab my copy today, but you have Spotify, hop on, type in Piss Off Old Paradigms, and go and listen to our bookcast. What's a bookcast, you ask?
It's an audiobook plus a podcast equals a bookcast. So listen for free at Spotify and iTunes. Type in Piss Off Old Paradigms and it'll be right there.
You can listen to our bookcast. Okay, dope. That was a good show.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys. Tony, thanks for hopping over. I appreciate it. I know you can't see the phone that you hopped off
did we
of.
even read your last stuff? We didn't even read it.
Oh, yeah, read that. Sorry.
Having communication in any form is good.
True.
People one-on-one are often nice to communicate with. Laugh a lot. I have done that before. Casey wrote a really long letter and then erased or not sent it. Rexdale! Clove.
Pain, rain for everyone. I know, I saw it too, but that's not what it was.
Wait, I don't even know what that is. Is
No,
that a
because
thing?
I said it went up in the air, and then he's seeing like pain, rain for everyone. I saw it too.
good imagining.
Oh, look at it! You just put the link up. You're the best. We're gonna put the link up in this
thank
in this
you.
thing, so when you watch it later, you can see it.
Thank you so much. I wish the show was longer.
Aww.
Wait, Tony, are you not dancing? Didn't you not
He is
tell
dancing.
us that the show was too long? You
No,
said,
it was in reference to the fact that he said that
who told us that the show was too long?
No,
it was
Dance
someone
had said,
else.
yeah, and Dance had said no. You guys should we don't have enough time to talk.
No,
all
you're
the
right.
things.
You're right. You know who it was? Zach.
Yeah, yeah,
someone
yeah,
said
yeah,
the
yeah.
show is too long. He's like, we need to keep it more strict on a timeline,
Okay.
and that has been sitting with me a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, we usually keep it to 1 hour now, but we're at 66 minutes. So I am Dance, and also Dance. Is it Danced or is it Dance?
It's Danced now. It's Danced now.
Well, we're sorry to rename you. I wish you had 3 hours. You're hilarious.
You know what? If you help us, if you pay us to do this for 3 hours, we'll do this all day. Let's do it. Hey.
She was about to call you daddy.
No, I was not going to say that. I was definitely not going to say daddy.
I'm being an asshole. I'm so sorry. I still think that some ideas are no longer worth validating. Just saying. You know what, Clove? I want to have you on the show and I want to talk about this. Dance DJ.
Wow.
So why didn't you tell us? We've been calling you Dancing like an asshole.
No, it's
all this
Danced now.
time.
Danced J, maybe, but it can't be Dance DJ. No, sorry. We've already done this. It's already solidified.
It is. I know, and we talk about you in real life, like, oh, Dancing. But yes, Clove, I want to talk about this because, okay, good. Because I'm actually really curious. I think I agree with you, but I also think I disagree with you, and I'm going to have to hop off a fence and stop poking myself and get serious. You got the visual. You all did. You
I
it.
got it way clearly, though. Are you okay? It seemed like a painful
It was a horrible vision. I had clothes on. I don't even have snow pants on. We're out of here, guys. Bye. He's a DJ. Okay, we love you, Dan.